Hey, welcome to my tutorial and guide on how to use DMDPie, the current superior tool for Discord DM advertisement. This tool currently supports a Windows and Linux version and is paid. I'll be showing off how to set up the tool, how to use each module within the tool, and I'll add in any recommended tips along the way. I'd recommend also reading the GitHub and all announcements within the Telegram group chat, as there is constant changes and this tutorial may become outdated. I've put timestamps on the screen right now for every section I'm covering today. The GitHub, as well as having a guide on how to set up Pi, also has free Telegram links to the different channels at the top, for chat, downloads, and news. First, we're going to find the download link within the Pi links Telegram chat. So if we open up this one and just open it up in Telegram, this is the Linux version. If we just scroll up, you can see DMDPie Windows, Linux. You can usually just work it out. So if we download this, and what we want to do is just extract this to a separate folder. Now that we've got it extracted, we can open up dmdpie.exe. And here it's going to open up a GUI. So here there's login and register. The first time you set up, you're going to need to register. So you're going to need to come here and put in a login. So pick any username and password and a key that you can buy on the Sellex. So here you can buy 1 day for $10, all the way up to 1 month for $150. Once you've registered, click create account and log in, and then you can come to login. Put in your username and password and click login. Now that we've got DMDPie open, we can see all of the modules at the top, as well as the MassDM module down here. I'll be going through each one briefly and explaining what each one do and all of the options. For this tutorial, we're going to be using IP for our proxies. You can also use Packet Stream. They're the two recommended providers right now, but IP is what I'm going to be using. Here are the settings we're going to be using for IP. We're going to set the country to the closest to you, so for me it's United Kingdom. Rotation, we're going to be on sticky IP. This means for each token it's going to be using the same IP, rather than using a random one each time. This is currently recommended. TTL, we're going to want to put this to the biggest value, which is 24 hours. Now we're going to want to come down here and we're going to go to username, password, and select this option. This is the only format that DMDPie currently accepts. Want to come to quantity and go to 10,000. Now we can come to copy and copy this list. Once we've got this list, we're going to paste this into proxy.txt and save that. We've got the capture settings. If we open this up, we can pick which capture solver we want to use. So DMDPie currently supports CapMonster 2 capture and CapSolver. So we pick the one we want to use. So I'm going to be using CapSolver here as it's currently recommended for the best results. And now we need to go to CapSolver and get our paper usage solving API key. Copy this and put it in. Click save. And now we've got our capture key in here. Capture retries is when a capture fails to be solved and Discord rejects it, how many times you want to retry. So you don't want to put this too high, but I like to change in between 3 and 5 just to see how things are going. Sometimes you might need to solve multiple captures to get Discord to let you join a server. So this is really just something that you need to mess around with and just find out yourself. So the first module is just loading the tokens. So if we come to our tokens.txt and just paste in our Discord tokens and save that. Now we need to pick our input format. If we look here in our tokens, here I've got the email, then the password of a token, then the actual token. So that means I want to do input format email password token. If it's just the token without the email and password, we come token and then blank for the other two. But here, because we've got email password token, we select those three and we can click load tokens. Secondly, we've got the server joiner. Make sure you read this information at the top, as it explains that if you try and join too fast, every token will face a capture on joining. If you happen to hit the limit, and every token gets a capture when it shouldn't, that means the server is currently being rate limited. You can test if your tokens are fine by joining them to a private server, and if they don't get capture, that means the server is rate limited. If this happens, you're going to need to wait 30 minutes before trying again. You can hit the rate limit if someone else is joining the server, so it's not always your fault, but it's something you can't avoid. There's 4 options within here that you might need to change. The first option is force capture. This isn't recommended as it can flag your tokens, but sometimes when joining with bad tokens they will always have a capture and join. Pi by default doesn't solve these captures to try and save your tokens, but you can force Pi to solve them here. So if you're really having issues with joining, you can try and force capture on them. The second one is for invite. This is either the server invite, so let's say Apple MC, or if you set it to multiple invites, typed like that, it's going to take the invites from invites.txt. So if we open up this one, we put in the multiple invites, so Apple MC and Apple MC2, or whatever other invites, or actual invites, not vanities. And this will join the token on the multiple servers. So if you want to be mass DMing multiple servers, you want to do this. Server delay, this is for if you're using multiple server invites and it defines the weight between multiple servers per token. Finally, you've got delay. This is used to define the weight between each token joining a server. Joining faster than waiting 25 seconds per token is going to trigger a capture per server. Don't go under this. You may need to wait longer to bypass certain Discord bots, such as Wick and Bleed. So in your testing, if they keep getting kicked, maybe try increasing your delay. Next up, we've got the emoji reactor. This is used when you want all of your tokens to react to a message with a certain emoji. So here you need to put in a token that can see the message and then also the message link that you want to be reacting to. You can get the message link by right-clicking on the message in the Discord server and selecting copy message link. This can be either your own Discord token or one of the bots that are in the server, but it needs to be able to see the message. Once you've done that, click scrape me some emotes and all of the emojis will be down here that you can react with. Next up is the user scraper. This is going to be used to scrape member IDs from a server. DMDPie only has an online scraper unless the server has less than 1,000 members. The reason why it works like this is because it's going to scrape all of the members that are on the sidebar. And on Discord, if a server has more than 1,000 members, it only shows online members on the sidebar. So to do this, once again you want to put in a token that can see a certain server and a channel in it. So take a token that can see that channel, and put in the server, and then on Discord you want to come here, go user settings, go to advanced and make sure developer mode is on. Now you can come to the server and right click and click copy ID. Put that in the server ID and the channel ID that you want to scrape from. So pick like an announcements channel and do that. Now click scrape me some users and it's going to scrape all of the online members, or if there's less than 1,000 members, also the offline members. Finally, there's the check tokens module. This is going to check all of your tokens and check if they're phone verified, email verified, or if they're verified at all. This should be used to remove dead tokens from your list. Here you've got the option of threads. The more threads, that means more simultaneously checking. So if you're checking 100 tokens with 50 threads, it's going to check one and then another for each individual thread. Finally, we've got the mass DM option. Here if we open it up, we've got the message and quite a few options that we've got to do. First of all, I would recommend not editing your message here, but rather coming to the side here and opening up message.json. Here within the content, we're going to put our message. And if we want to add the user, we can put in this. And this here will be replaced with the user's at. So here we can type our message. So let's say I like pie user. I'm going to save this and close that. Before sending every message, DMDPie is going to check that it's still in the server in case it gets banned or kicked from the server. So what you want to do is you want to put the server ID and the channel ID by getting the server ID and the channel ID that the token can see. Sometimes this might be a verified channel because the token might not be able to see these main channels without verifying first in the server. Total member IDs, this is going to be all of the IDs that you've scraped. You can click here, remove completed and duplicates to remove duplicates from the list, and also every time DMDPie successfully sends a message, it will add the ID to completed.txt. This means you can remove it from here so it doesn't repeatedly message the same person. Here in advanced settings we've got link spoof. You're going to want to turn on link spoof if you've got a link in your message. This is because if you send a link in a Discord message, it's going to lengthen the life of your token. So it's going to do some magic to make it better. Here request bypass. This is an experimental feature. What this is going to try and do is bypass the message request box, because right now if you send a message on Discord, it's going to go to this box rather than appearing here. So this tries to bypass it, but it can shorten the length of your tokens. So it's recommended to do your research and try it out and see if it works well for you. Amount to send, this is just the amount of messages you want to send. So even though you might have 15,000 member IDs, you might want to limit it to 10k or any other amount. you can just set it to the maximum value, which will by default just be all of the IDs. Threads is the amount of simultaneous tokens that you want to be running at a time. So if let's say you have got 50 threads running, but you've got 100 tokens in total, it's going to start using only 50 tokens at a time, and when they die, they'll swap to a new token. Most of the time you can just set this to your total amount of tokens. Sleep and start is when you start DMing how long you want to sleep between each token starting. Right now you can just keep this to 1, which will pretty much start them all one after each other. Sleep between DMs is how long you want to sleep in between individual DMs. So if we just put this to 1, it's going to just DM as many people as possible until Discord rate limits. Discord does a rate limit of 10 DMs per 10 minutes. So there's a hard limit for the time taken to be 1 DM per minute. Upon getting rate limited, it's going to sleep on rate limit. Putting this any below 600 just means if you hit the rate limit and you try and DM within 10 minutes again, you're just going to get rate limited again. So I'd recommend to keep this at 600. Once you've filled out all these settings, click start messaging.